Hey guys, it's Neon back for CLOWNFISH TV. We've got an update on two different situations today. An update on Rian Johnson's employment status as well as James Gunn's employment status. Both are probably going to be collecting unemployment. So let's get started. First up with Rian Johnson, the beloved director of The Last Jedi. Disney reportedly gave him his own trilogy, or they will be giving him his own trilogy of films in the future. He's talked about that since, I believe, December, since before The Last Jedi came out, and there was reaction to it. Now there's word from the Express.uk. Again, this is a kind of a garbage site, but just to take it for what's worth. Apparently, there's been some confirmation that Rian Johnson is no longer going to be working on his trilogy, that Rian Johnson is out the door. This would not surprise me given the way that Disney's been kind of cleaning house lately. So let's dive into this article. Making a trilogy of movies about one main story with three directors all allowed to develop their own ideas and plotlines sounds rather unwise, surely. But how about greenlighting another huge big budget trilogy with no story outline or characters at all? Yeah, we don't even know where they're going to go with this. No wonder Disney appears to be suddenly pulling back on plans made by Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy, especially following the explosive fan reaction to The Last Jedi. New comments from long-term Star Wars art director Neil Lamont appear to confirm that work on Johnson's divisive trilogy about new galaxies has been stopped, as well as the imperiled Obi-Wan Kenobi spinoff. Yeah, we've heard that Obi-Wan is not happening. It seems like Disney is sort of stepping back and taking a good hard look at Star Wars at this point, because what they've been doing is not working. So back in December, Johnson told Slash Film, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he was gloating about getting... Basically, they handed Johnson a trilogy before they even knew how The Last Jedi would be received or perform. Kathleen Kennedy handed him a trilogy. And the mouse giveth and the mouse taketh away. Disney gave it a go-ahead with no specific story idea. Yeah, that was it. That was the pitch. Of course, 1 month later, everything had changed. Now it seems it may never happen. Yeah, we haven't heard too much, and we've actually speculated before that his trilogy has been canceled. You haven't heard anything about it since The Last Jedi premiered. It was a little premature elation on the part of Rian Johnson to get excited about this trilogy because it's probably not going to happen. After The Last Jedi was released, it unleashed a staggering and unexpected backlash, with a vocal part of the fandom furious over numerous issues, including the treatment of Luke, dismissal of Snoke, and fudging of Rey's parentage. Do you think? So they're talking about how The Last Jedi, because people were so soured on Star Wars thanks to The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy, and really I think their public displays of loathing toward the fandom. I mean, I've never seen a movie studio seemingly hate its fans as much as Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm just seems to despise its fans, and they make sure that they're very vocal about that at pretty much every opportunity, which just blows my mind. I mean, they really think that the movies will make money regardless of how they treat fans, and it's pretty shocking that Disney has let it go this long. While all of this was unfolding, Rogue One art director Neil Lamont had been involved with preparing the expected next series of movies, including Obi-Wan. Lamont told Cinema Blend this week that work on the next generation Lucasfilm projects had begun before Disney suddenly called a major halt. Disney called a major halt. I think Alan Horn might be getting involved in a lot of this, and we're going to talk about that in relations to the James Gunn situation. Alan Horn is the chief of Walt Disney Pictures. He's the big boss. He's the guy that oversees all of the movie studios, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Disney Animation, Disney Live Action. All of that is under Alan Horn, who's actually a very smart guy. He said, "We were just starting our work on another Star Wars spinoff, and yeah, we were actually just making our mark on Tatooine, which would have been interesting, and some other new galaxies. The only reported projects that involve any other galaxies are the Johnson movies." Lamont appears to have confirmed two major Star Wars rumors. Firstly, Tatooine is Obi-Wan Kenobi's home planet. No, it's not. He's just kind of parking it there. speculation that this movie had hit the rocks was already widespread. Yeah, we've heard from even Ewan McGregor that they weren't going to make an Obi-Wan movie. They talked about downgrading it to a streaming movie, which is basically direct-to-video, and now they're just not going to do it at all. If the projects in other galaxies are indeed Johnson's 3 films, this is another major blow for all the plans laid by that director and Kathleen Kennedy to take Star Wars in a different direction. This doesn't even make sense. A direction fans, and now perhaps Disney, no longer... What? A direction fans, and now perhaps Disney no longer wish to pursue. Maybe? Direction fans and Disney. Yeah, I think Disney's taking a step back from Star Wars to look at the situation because it's clearly not working. They cannot afford another Solo-like bomb. Episode 9 is already shaping up to be a cluster of magnanimous proportions. I don't even know how they're going to be able to fix it. I think they've painted themselves into a corner with Episode 9, and it's. I don't think it's something they can actually fix. I think they're just going to kind of crap the next movie out, hope for the best, and then kind of take a long, hard look at Star Wars after this trilogy and be like, what did we do wrong? Okay, now that's Star Wars. Over in the MCU, James Gunn is not coming back to Guardians of the Galaxy. This Disney has apparently put their foot down, or at least Alan Horn at Disney has put his foot down. Again, he's the big boss at Disney, and said no, he's not coming back, because if you actually read the tweets, which I actually spent some time reading more of his tweets this week, and they're pretty freaking disgusting. Where we last left, James Gunn, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy, wrote a letter of support for James Gunn. Dave Bautista threatened to walk away if they did not use his script, and he called working for Disney nauseating, which, if I were Disney, I'd be like, hey, you know what? You're out the door and we're bringing The Rock in. There you go. Have a nice day. So anyway, at this point, the letter does not seem likely to save his job. Gunn's firing was approved by Disney Studios chief Alan Horn, with his boss, company CEO Bob Iger, weighing in on the final decision. The involvement of the highest levels of Disney signals that the cast pressure to rethink the Gunn ouster will struggle to gain internal support. Yeah, I think he's done. He's done. He's out the door. I don't see Disney rehiring him, says one person close to the matter. Those tweets were so horrible, and Disney has a different standard than other studios. Gunn's comments were nearly a decade old and recently resurfaced by alt-right agitators. I love this. Alt-right agitators. We can't just say, hey, Gunn's comments were awful and some people found them. No. Blame the alt-right. You know, the nebulous alt-right agitators. The tweets included messages such as, the best thing about being raped is when you're done being raped. And it's like, woo, this feels great not being raped. And I'm doing a big Hollywood adaptation of The Giving Tree with a happy ending. The tree grows back and gives the kid a blowjob. Oh my God. Others made light of AIDS, the Holocaust, and 9/11. Yeah, some of the tweets talked about monkeys spanking it on children, and, you know, how it made him happy. And I'm like, oh my God. You know, no normal adult would make jokes like this with such frequency. I understand, you know, maybe saying the off-color thing every once in a while, but like his Twitter timeline was filled with really, really weird crap, and I'm really surprised Disney didn't find it sooner. And again, I think this comes down to Disney, and the same with Marvel Comics. Like, Disney doesn't always pay attention. It's such a large company. I don't think they're always paying attention to individuals. I think they bring people in, unless there's negative attention brought to people by the media or someone internally. I think they just kind of, it's just business as usual. And that's kind of what happened with Marvel Comics too. I think the reason that Marvel Comics got away with their people behaving so deplorably for so long was that nobody at the Walt Disney Company was actually paying attention to Marvel Comics, because Marvel Comics doesn't generate any meaningful revenue for Disney. It's just sort of there. This is funny. I didn't know this. This wasn't Gunn's first social media scandal. In 2012, the director apologized for a blog post he wrote in 2011 titled "The 50 Superheroes You Most Want to Have Sex With." In it, Gunn speculated that Iron Man could turn lesbian Batwoman into a heterosexual. Look out, Ruby Rose. Labeled Gambit a Cajun fruit and called Batgirl, who is a teenage mother in the comics, easy. Facing backlash, Gunn say regretted making poorly worded statements. Gunn makes a lot of poorly worded statements, and then he kind of tries to retroactively call them jokes. I just think he's a messed up dude. I think he's just a really messed up dude, and I think Disney is wise to distance themselves from him. I'm sure another studio will pick him up, some indie studio or something, but his time in the MCU is over. Now, where this is going to leave Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, who knows? It was supposed to come out in 2020. Obviously, I think, R.I.P. Aretha Franklin. Obviously, I think that, Disney's going to have to rework it. They might rework the script. They might have to replace Dave Bautista. I still think The Rock would be a good replacement for Dave Bautista. I mean, I was only half joking. I think he actually would be a good replacement for him. And, it's just a mess. I mean, I personally think the MCU after Avengers 4 is going to be a mess anyway. I don't have a very good feeling about where things are going to go. I think we're going to see some heroes get replaced. I think we're going to fall into kind of the Marvel Comics situation where we're going to have, new people stepping into the mantles. So who knows? But it looks like Disney is cleaning house with James Gunn and Rian Johnson. I think Disney really needs to pay closer attention to who it's hiring to sort of be the spokespeople for their high-profile movie projects. And I do expect, because of all this, especially with James Gunn, I expect for them to take a closer look at who they're putting in charge of their major film franchises. So that is the update. Again, there hasn't been anything officially confirmed yet. I'm personally just expecting Disney to just kind of hope the public forgets about the Rian Johnson trilogy and not officially acknowledge that it's been canceled. Just like say, hey, we're going in a different direction. Subscribe to CLOWNFISH TV for more pop culture news, game videos, art videos, and rants. This has been Neon. Goodbye.